Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So today we kind of have a pretty fun one here, and that is opening a fairly absurd amount of collector's reserves. So if you don't know, a lot of players have been hoarding those collector's reserves in anticipation of them maybe getting buffed further down the line. There is some context here where players held their reserves when the first update happened that brought us spotlight caches, and by doing so, we were able to effectively map out which caches would convert to spotlights and which would not. Now, this was useful because caches used to give more tokens than they do currently. Right now, caches give 100 tokens. Before, they would give, I believe, 200 to 600 tokens. So there were a lot of tokens to potentially be gained by opening caches that weren't going to convert into spotlights and leaving the caches that were going to convert. Nobody knew if this trick was going to work, but on the day of the update, it did work. We planned it out, and a lot of people made out with essentially doubling up on their resources, getting to take advantage of all the tokens in the old system and the spotlight caches under the new system. So pretty much ever since then, a lot of players have been hoping that they can hold up their current collector's reserves and the chance that they get a opportunity to double dip again in the future if something changes. Another thing that also has kind of encouraged hoarding here is the fact that people really don't like gold tickets. Gold tickets are generally kind of a feels bad for a lot of players. Players would much rather have credits or a variant. Heck, some who don't like Conquest might even prefer an avatar or a title, even though those aren't overly desirable either. But for those reasons, a lot of players are saying, you know what, I'm getting enough resources just playing the game where I don't feel like I absolutely need to open these regular caches, so I'm just going to hoard them in the chance that, you know, maybe eventually they buff them again or change something in their favor where they can benefit from it. Now, do I think that is likely to happen? Honestly, no. I do hope that the people hoarding do get rewarded eventually, because I was rewarded for my initial hoarding and that felt really good. So I do, you know, kind of wish the best to the people hoping this works out. But I also know that Second Dinner didn't seem to be that pleased that players were taking advantage of this double dipping. And so because of that, I think if they ever introduce some new system or opportunity where this can happen again, they now know that their player base is going to try and take advantage of it, and they'll probably do what they can to prevent that from happening. So that's just some general context surrounding why people are hoarding boxes, as I see questions about that a lot. I see people bring it up and others don't really understand why they're doing that. So yeah, that's the reason why a lot of people hoard boxes. Now, these are not my boxes. These are my podcast co-host Blutrane's boxes. He's been saving since shortly after, I think, the Spotlight update went live and gold tickets came into the boxes. He has been hoarding those boxes up, and they have amassed quite a collection. He has 258 boxes, I believe, here. So that's pretty nuts. It's like 6 months worth of boxes. And this is for a player who is buying the season pass and getting the occasional bundle, but not going super hard on wailing out for progression. So we're going to have a little bit of a time lapse going on the side here. It took us about an hour to open all this. This is also a good time to mention that we do a podcast. I haven't really mentioned it enough over here. I want to mention it more, but we do a bi-weekly podcast. So every 2 weeks, we have a show called BornToBeCosmo. We talk all things Marvel Snap. So if you like that podcast type of stuff, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. And it's also something you can find on pretty much any given podcast platform. So thanks to Blue for sharing this with me so I can share it with all of you, as I think this stuff is kind of neat, especially if you're one of those players who is hoarding their boxes and curious, well, what exactly is sitting in all these boxes that I've been saving for so long? So starting out, the resources he had before opening anything were 3,820 credits and 8,200 tokens. And gold is not really relevant here anymore, as you can't get gold from the regular caches. Now, after ripping through all 258 boxes, he ended up with a total of 30 titles, 22 avatars, 31 variants, 13 of which were pixels, by the way, and 30 gold tickets. And then it comes to the main resources. So tokens, he got 5,500 tokens and 14,850 credits. So those are the contents of all the boxes. I have an image here just showing off some of the glorious pixels that he got throughout the run, and I'll leave a link to his Twitter post. Definitely recommend giving him a follow if you'd like Marvel Snap. He did end up going through a lot of those credits, going for some splits, And as such, he got some more boxes and some spotlight keys. So the spotlight keys he ended up gaining out of the credits used from opening all these boxes was 3 spotlights. He got an additional 800 more tokens and 3 more variants, 2 of which were pixel, and he got some additional credits from opening up the boxes he got using the credits he got from the initial ones, which I believe was around 2,700 credits. So that brings our grand total of valuable resources here after everything was opened and a lot of the credits were used to 6,300 tokens, 17,550 credits, and 34 variants, 15 of which were pixels. So yeah, I just thought this was kind of interesting, gives people an idea of what you have sitting in those boxes, or just what it looks like if you decide to save and then open everything all at once. Honestly, it's kind of crazy though that it takes like half a year to get 6,000 tokens just naturally through the track. But I hope this information was interesting. This was a fun little thing to do and take a look at what all the stuff he got out of this was. It was cool to open on stream. Appreciate Blue for doing it. And let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think of the stuff he got out of the boxes? Are you hoarding your resources? Are you not? Does this change your opinion on it at all? I'd love to hear it. It's going to wrap it up for this one, though. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.